Year America. Goodbye 2023. Hello 2024. From us here to all Americans everywhere, we wish you and our country, the United States of America, continued prosperity, great joy, and happiness during the new year. Americans are safe in their homes from the horrors of war at this time. No armies are marching outside our borders. In the Ukraine, Russia is attacking. In Gaza, Israel is attacking. We are safe for now. Can we expect more wars in 2024 to start? Is the president protecting us from war by helping other countries fight their wars, or will American men and women join the battlefields? Let us listen to what others say about this situation.
Ukrainian soldiers locked in battle with Russian-backed fighters in eastern Ukraine. 6 months into the second attempted ceasefire there, the fighting still raging. It is operations like this one that has the outgoing U.S. Army Chief of Staff calling Russia the most dangerous threat to the United States today.
The United States government provides money to other countries to wage their wars, $113 billion to Ukraine so far. Israel gets $3.8 billion each year, and plus the $14.5 billion to help Israel wage war in Gaza. But honestly, we Americans have lots of money because we create money magically by printing it. Does this money printing have any impact? Under Biden since January 2020, the United States has printed nearly 80% of all dollars in existence. The United States also has $34 trillion of debt. Is that good? Is Bidenomics producing the strongest economy ever, or are Americans facing economic woes like inflation, rising grocery bills, rising gas bills, and other economic stressors? Can we expect this to continue under Joe Biden? Let's listen to what others say about this issue.
Thank you, Vice Chairman, and appreciate the time on the floor today to speak about these important matters. Mr. Speaker, when Tennesseans go to the gas pump and grocery store, they are constantly reminded of the fact that everything was much more affordable only 1 year ago. Since President Biden has taken office and congressional Democrats have recklessly borrowed and spent trillions of dollars, the cost of living has skyrocketed at a rate not seen since 1981.
Most people in most places around the world will have noticed that the cost of even the most basic food ingredients have increased.
Fruits, vegetables, which we buy a lot of.
The food is up. Everything's high.
But why? And why now?
So I'm heading off to Philadelphia, and if you want to ask me a question about the economy, but I'm not going to answer any question about anything else because you never will cover this.
Mr. President, why did you decide to postpone Secretary Blinken's trip? Do you take any blame for inflation, Mr. President?
Do I take any blame for inflation? No.
Correct. Why not?
Because it was already there when I got here, man. Remember what the economy was like when I got here? Jobs were hemorrhaging. Inflation was rising. We weren't manufacturing a damn thing here. We were in real economic difficulty. That's why I don't. Thank you.
Mr. President, when and how will you remember Berlin? When and how will you remember Berlin, Mr. President?
All across America, Joe Biden says Americans are enjoying the best of times. Good jobs, great housing, great health, prosperity, from the West Coast to the East Coast. In all American cities, we are living the good life. Is this true? And lots of free stuff. Free tents, free food, free needles, free stuff. Let freedom ring. Let that freedom ring. Our great cities Denver, Houston, Chicago, Detroit, Philadelphia, New York City, and others are home to happy Americans. Let the cities speak for themselves. Can we expect this to continue under Joe Biden?
New data shows that homelessness in the United States is at an all-time high. According to the Department of Housing and Urban Development, some 653,000 people were homeless in 2023. That's 70,000 more than the year before. The report also found an increase in the number of people who were homeless for the first time. The Biden administration blames high rent prices and the end of pandemic assistance for the rise. Meantime, student loan.
New at 5, we have shocking video of what's going on in one of the busiest BART stations in the Bay Area. Several junkies blatantly shooting up out in the open. Others slumped along the corridors. This is San Francisco Civic Center station. We sent KPIX5's Wilson Walker to ask the mayor and BART, what are you doing about all of this?
Thank you. Open IV drug use, unconscious men and women, piles of vomit on either side of the hallways. This is a morning walk through the Civic Center BART and Muni station.
And one morning, I got to pull out the camera. I got to show my friends this. They're not going to believe it.
And over the course of a week, Shannon Gafford documented his trip to work. You may find the video shocking. You may find it routine.
Every day, every morning, 5:30, 6 o'clock. I mean, you can see there's dozens of them. And needles everywhere, crack, heroin.
It's a real concern for our riders, and we appreciate that. What we have to do is make the most of the resources, the limited resources that we have.
Hey guys, we need to clear the stairs.
BART, which has been pledging to address these problems, says it's recruiting more community service officers, more than 30 new sworn officers, and 20 new station cleaners. But will that be enough?
The situation on our BART stations is simply unacceptable. Border is disastrous.
San Francisco Mayor Mark Farrell, who today unveiled a $13 million plan to get needles, among other things, off of city streets. But the city's jurisdiction ends when you head down those BART stairs.
I don't care at the end of the day if now we have jurisdictional issues. As mayor, I want to get something done, and I want to make sure that these BART stations are cleaned up.
Now, while homeless services are offered to those in the city's BART stations, the mayor says San Francisco police may be needed because BART admits it is simply overwhelmed by the crisis that has landed in its hallways.
We're in the midst of a national homelessness crisis, and we're also in the middle of a national drug crisis. And unfortunately, as a transit agency, we have limited resources, and we're not really equipped to deal with these social issues.
So this, for now, is the status quo, a daily commute through a human crisis that shows no end.
You do. You feel bad for these people in a way. I mean, because you are human and you see them. This isn't going anywhere, it looks like. It's just getting worse.
In San Francisco, Wilson Walker, KPIX 5.
All countries, including the United States, have legal borders and laws requiring legal entry into a country. Are Americans expected to follow the laws? Are our visitors and guests to our country expected to follow our laws and legal system? Apparently, Joe Biden does not believe this to be so. Are people entering the United States illegally? How many people are entering our country? Our borders are secure, the Biden government tells us. How are the cities of America handling the illegal immigration into the United States? How many more migrants will cross the unsecured United States border in 2024? Can we expect this to continue under Joe Biden? Let's listen to what others are observing.
Do you believe that right now there's a crisis at the border?
I think that the answer is no.
A record 300,000 migrants processed at the U.S. southern border last month. It fuels an already intense debate over immigration policy. U.S. Border Patrol agents managing a record increase of migrants arriving at the southern border, processing around 250,000 new arrivals each month since August. The 300,000 last month included a record number of families traveling with children. This weekend, Texas Governor Greg Abbott arranged for 350 asylum seekers to be flown to Illinois. After landing in Rockford, they boarded buses to Chicago.
What we have is clearly an international and federal crisis that local governments are being asked to subsidize, and this is unsustainable.
Adding to the political stakes, House Speaker Mike Johnson is expected to visit the border this week and will hold a press conference tomorrow in Eagle Pass. Department of Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas is also scheduled to visit sometime next week.
Joe Biden, the one man to bring us all together, unify us, get us to work with each other peacefully. Is that what is really happening? There's a lot of talk of a civil war, lots and lots of talk. Let's listen to what others are saying. Can we expect this to continue under Joe Biden?
American Civil War 2023. Is it a possibility?
A number of retired generals are warning of a coming civil war in 2024.
What else can we expect to happen while Biden is president? New wars? World War III maybe? More money printed? More debt? 37 trillion in debt? A new civil war? What can we expect from Joe Biden in 2024? What are others saying? What will happen in 2024 under President Joe Biden? Let's listen in. Is Joe Biden the man we want to trust to guide us in 2024? Or is it time for a change?
This morning, American troops far from home
training in Latvia alongside NATO allies, the last frontier between Russia and the West. The battlefield scenarios these war games are simulating are entirely real.
A leaked U.S. military intelligence documents suggest that special forces from NATO countries have been operating in Ukraine.
As the fighting intensifies in Ukraine, the U.S. is deploying more resources to help our allies overseas, and that includes soldiers from Fort Hood, the massive army base a few hours south of Dallas.
Ukrainian soldiers locked in battle with Russian-backed fighters in eastern Ukraine. 6 months into the second attempted ceasefire there, the fighting still raging. It is operations like this one that has the outgoing U.S. Army Chief of Staff calling Russia the most dangerous threat to the United States today.
Right after 3055.